So friends, today's story is based on a girl who supports her household by working in the oil mat business. Shockingly, her brother and uncle also assist her in this disgraceful work. You're going to enjoy this video a lot, but before that, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on such powerful content. Our story begins with a girl named Nasi, who is shown in the forest romancing with a client. She earns a good amount of money for doing this work. We then see another man who is calculating earnings within a specific area. This man is the one who pimps for Nasi, as she pleases several clients in a day and earns money on a partnership basis. As evening falls, Nasi and her uncle return home with food and supplies. Observing their living conditions, it's clear that Nasi's family is extremely poor. Nasi lives with her younger sister, Nisha, and her brother, Rocky. After dinner, Nasi's uncle sits down to calculate the day's earnings. Just then, Rocky, who is the son of that uncle, also arrives. He is well aware of all of Nasi's activities. He hands his father a razor and says, "You never know what kind of clients you'll be dealing with. You might need this someday." Soon after, Nasi receives another order and sets out with her uncle to meet the client. But we see that this client is extremely brutal. He becomes so aggressive that Nasi starts screaming in pain. Even her uncle, standing outside, can't bear to hear it. He storms inside and tells the client to stop and not to do anything further to her. However, the client doesn't stop and continues with force, leading to a scuffle between him and Nasi's uncle. In the fight, the uncle pulls out the razor, but it ends up being used against him. As a result, Nasi's uncle dies on the spot. Now, we see mourning engulfing Nasi's home. As days pass, the financial situation grows even worse. Meanwhile, her uncle's phone continues to ring with calls from clients. After this, we see that Rocky now takes on the responsibility of the household. He decides to take over his uncle's role and manage everything himself. Nasi now starts answering calls and arranging her meetings again. Rocky also begins accompanying her to set up the meetings. We see Nasi busy entertaining her clients, while Rocky stays occupied doing the accounting. After dealing with 3 clients back to back, Nasi remembers she still has one more client to meet, one who's ready to pay her a large sum. And that client is none other than the village chief. When Nasi visits the chief's house, he introduces her to his son and says, "This is my boy, and I want you to make him a man." He offers her a lot of money for it, but also warns her to keep it a secret, because his son is actually gay. So Nasi enters the son's room and stands fully naked in front of him. But the boy doesn't respond at all. He remains completely still. The truth is, he was never interested in women, but his father was forcing him to become a man. So the boy comes up with a plan. He tells Nasi to scream loudly, just to make his father believe that he's doing the deed. After this entire act and drama, Rocky and Nasi leave the house. The next morning, Rocky goes around the whole village bragging that he had a wild night with Nasi. As a result, more and more men from the village start wanting to be with Nasi, and her profits start skyrocketing. But this wasn't going to last long. Very soon, the news reaches the local police station. A police inspector comes to meet Rocky. After some discussion, the inspector agrees on a commission cut and then asks Rocky to get intimate with one of his constables. Rocky had never done such a thing before, and the idea makes him so sick that he throws up. This disturbing routine continues for almost 3 months. Soon, Rocky himself starts entertaining the village women. One day, after finishing their work, Rocky and Nasi are on their way home when they run into Saimal on the road. Saimal takes his commission and leaves. Sometime later, we see that Nasi's health begins to deteriorate severely. Nasi's health worsens, and Rocky doesn't have enough money to pay for her treatment. Around this time, the inspector is patrolling the village. He notices a girl returning home from college and becomes infatuated with her. He starts following her. When the girl reaches home and begins changing her clothes, the inspector hides and watches her secretly. The next morning, Rocky comes up with a plan for the inspector to sleep with the girl, but the inspector is completely drunk and can't do anything. Rocky takes advantage of the situation and secretly steals money from his wallet, along with his wristwatch. With that stolen money, Rocky arranges for Nasi's treatment. We now see that Nasi's condition slowly begins to improve. Taking this opportunity, Rocky calls Joshua, the village chief's son, who had now become a close friend of Nasi. Joshua starts taking care of her since Rocky was busy managing the entire business alone after Nasi fell sick. Meanwhile, Rocky wears the stolen wristwatch from the constable, which catches the inspector's eye. The moment the inspector and the constable recognize the watch, they confront Rocky and beat him mercilessly. Eventually, they get him arrested on charges of theft and put him in jail. In the same jail, we also see the college girl whom the inspector had followed to her house. The inspector hadn't touched her yet because he wanted to be intimate with her, only if she consented. On the other side, Nasi is now facing severe financial problems due to Rocky's absence. She struggles to manage household expenses, and shopkeepers start refusing to give her anything on credit. After going several days without proper food, Nasi becomes extremely weak and starts fainting frequently. At this point, her younger sister comes forward to help her. Back in jail, Rocky tries to talk to the same young girl, and that's when he learns her name, Amaya. Amaya asks Rocky for help to get out of jail, but Rocky is already suffering his own misfortune. Just then, the inspector overhears Rocky talking to Amaya and begins beating him once again. At that moment, a friend of the inspector arrives. He wants to see Amaya without clothes, so he asks her to change her clothes, and Samuel, that is, the policeman, also wanted the same. After which, he goes and asks Maya to change her clothes and also fingered her private part. After this, we see that the inspector finds Rocky's diary, in which he had written all the accounts. Now, he starts demanding a lot of money to release Rocky, but all of Rocky's money was spent on Nasi's treatment. Now, here the policeman makes a plan with his devilish mind and takes out a number from his diary and calls him to the police station. After some time, the client comes to the police station, and after giving money to the policeman, he goes and romances with Amaya. First, he goes and enjoys on Amaya, but when he is about to get intimate, the policeman stops him and beats him and drives him away from there. This makes it clear that the policeman also cares for Amaya. Now, he again makes a deal with Rocky that he should convince Amaya to get intimate with him, and in return, he will give him money. He will let her go. Then Rocky says that I cannot convince this girl. To convince this girl, you will have to call Nasi here. After which that policeman, Afron, sends a man to call Nasi here and explains everything to Nasi, after which Nasi now convinces Amaya and also prepares her, after which she takes her and hands her over to the policeman, but this was Amaya's first time. After which, when that policeman gets intimate with her, she screams loudly, and the police station echoes with her screams, and seeing this, Nasi and Rocky also feel very bad, but they themselves cannot help her because they are locked in the jail. Now, the next morning, again that inspector comes to take Amaya, but this time, Nasi stops him saying that he is also not ready. If you want, you can make me scream. Then what was the inspector? He starts making her scream too, and taking advantage of this, Nasi uses his knife on the neck of that policeman, due to which he falls unconscious there. Now Amaya also gets excited and takes an iron rod and inserts it in the back of the policeman. And by doing this, she really gets some relief. Later, we see that the inspector dies, after which all three of them escape from the police station overnight, and immediately after reaching home, they start packing their clothes. Then, the Pradhan's son, Joseph, arrives there with his car because he also wanted to live his life in his own way, after which he takes all three of them and goes away from there, after which we see that Rocky and Amir are in a relationship, and both of them also start living their life well, and this is where the story ends.